Hello, everybody. This is KCSB-FM in Santa Barbara 91.9. My name is Keon Zamuda, and you are listening to Meet Your Mentors, where we talk with faculty and staff here at UCSB about who they are, what they do, and what life at UCSB is all about. So, we have got a awesome show for you today with none other than Professor Scott Price from the Chemistry Department. Give it up. Thank you for being here, Professor.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really excited to be here today.
No problem. This is awesome. So, we have got a jam-packed show for you today, as always, and it's going to be very fantastic. So, to begin, we always like to just get to know our guest a little bit. So, if we could start with what classes you teach here at UCSB.
So, I teach the General Chemistry series here at UCSB. It's Chem 1A, Chem 1B, Chem 1C.
Cool. Very nice. And then if you could tell us a little bit about what those classes entail.
Yeah, so general chemistry kind of gives an introduction to the entire range of topics of chemistry. And this is a class that students take if they're in pretty much any science major, any environmental science, anything, the entire gamut. In fact, it's incredible how many different majors. Engineering requires it as well. And it gives people a little bit of a taste of problem-solving skills and how chemistry can be applied in their fields.
Very nice. And it's about like 2,000 people who start like freshman year with general chemistry.
Yeah, every quarter
right?
we have about 2,000 students in general chemistry.
And it's like 3 teachers splitting 2 classes each, so like 6 classes or something like
yeah,
that?
Yeah,
like,
usually something like that.
It's crazy, but it's very cool, and it's a lot of material, and it's a lot of fun. So, yeah, great. So, general chemistry, and then you must have a lot of experience with chemistry, obviously, to be teaching it in a world-renowned university like UCSB. So, if you could tell us a little bit about where you studied and what your areas of study were.
Yeah, sure. So, I went to undergrad at Northwestern University,
oh, really?
Which is up in the suburbs of Chicago. I actually grew up in the suburbs of Chicago and just kind of stayed there for college and majored in chemistry there. And when I got to the end of my time in undergrad, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with chem. So I figured I'll just go to grad school and study some more and try to figure it out.
Why not?
And so I knew that I wanted to study it further and thought I needed to kind of change scenery a little bit, get out of Chicago, move to a warmer place. And so I came to UCSB to get my PhD. And I was here for 5 years working on the PhD, finished that up, and then was still really unsure what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I was really torn between teaching and doing research. And I decided to pursue the research path just to see what it was all about, and took a job working at a large chemical company. And I was there, and while I was there, I realized how much I missed teaching.
Really?
And how much fun I had teaching when I was a grad student here working as a TA. And so I decided that I was going to make the switch from research back into teaching, left my job, and came back. I was very fortunate to get a position back here at UCSB, and that's where I've been.
That's really cool. That's really good. And it goes to show you that even if you go into research, for example, you can always go to teaching, or if you start with teaching, you can go to research. You have those options, and I'm sure others. And cool. So, and then last but not least, just before we get into our second segment, we'll talk a little bit more in detail about chemistry. What are your hobbies?
So one thing that I really like doing, although I wish I had time to do it more, was lifting weights. Ooh. I know it doesn't look like it when you see me, right? I'm very, very skinny.
No.
It's just because I wish I could devote more time to it, but I really like doing that. I love cooking, so because there's a lot of chemistry involved in that, and so it's a lot of fun. You get to actually eat your products, which is kind of fun. And one thing that I've really gotten into the last few years is curling. So that's that like sport on the ice where you're throwing stones and sweeping the ice and all that. That's a lot of fun, but you got to go to LA for that.
Yeah.
Now that they open the ice rink here, maybe we'll try to get a curling club going up here.
Yeah, exactly. Last show, Dr. Kennedy was talking about how he does ice hockey, and he's looking forward to that ice rink too.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Yeah. So curling, how exactly, could you just like explain it like really quick, like the rules exactly of curling?
So it's kind of like playing shuffleboard, but you're playing on ice. So your goal is you're playing against another team, and you're trying to slide rocks down the ice, and you're trying to put them into a bullseye region. And my goal is to try to get as many of my rocks as close to the bullseye as possible. And I want all of my rocks to be closer than my opponent's rocks. for every rock that I have that's closer than my opponent's closest rock, I get a point.
Okay.
And so it's this game of strategy between you and your opponent, right? You're trying to get your rocks in the scoring position, and your opponents are trying to knock you out or trying to bury their rocks in a way that prevents you from scoring.
Okay, that's cool.
So they say it's like chess on ice, basically, because there's a lot of strategy predicting what your opponents are going to do next, what they're going to do in the next step, and trying to set up a good strategy to get yourself as many points as possible.
That's sweet. And then are you the one who pushes the rock, or are you the one that sweeps in front of it to clear the path?
So we actually all take turns with it.
Oh, okay.
So there's in every they're called ends. It's like innings in baseball, basically.
Oh, okay.
So in each end, each team throws 8 stones. There's 4 members on each team.
Okay.
And so each person will throw 2 of the 8 rocks. And so I'll throw 2. Then when my teammates are throwing, I sweep for them.
Okay, that's cool.
So we all get a chance to do something.
That's nice. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'd like to try that sometime.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's about it for our first segment of the show. We're going to be right back after this short break. We're going to talk with Professor Price about what chemistry is exactly and what research he has done in the past. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But first, we have a very good song for you up. And if you could tell us a little bit about your favorite genre of music. Classic hip-hop.
So I love classic hip-hop, alternative hip-hop. I don't know, I grew up listening to a lot of that stuff, kind of growing up in the 90s, growing up with a lot of that sort of music, and I love the beat, I love the just the kind of chill sort of vibe of it, and so that's the type of music I like to listen to while I'm working a lot.
Awesome. And you play it before your classes start?
Sometimes during class too, to kind of go along with some of the demonstrations that I do. If I can find songs that have some lyrics that kind of fit what we're trying to show in a demo, it's nice. It kind of enhances learning, I like to say.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's my excuse for getting to play some of my favorite music in class.
Exactly.
So
that's
it enhances
the goal.
Learning. Yes.
Enhances learning, enhances fun. Okay, so that's about it. We're going to be right back with Professor Price. This is KCSB 91.9 FM. You are listening to Meet Your Mentors. Up next is Do Remember by Big Delphi. We'll be right back.
Yeah. A wise man said, in order to know where you're going, you gotta know where you come from. Let me show you where I come from.
Do you remember when rap was the best? Grandmaster Flash and Dougie Fresh. You remember Run DMC, Big Daddy Kane and BDP. You remember Shelters and Gazelles, Janet Cool G, Bonnie and LL. Remember those good old days, those good old days.
Talking about Spot Bill, Pumas, Adidas, and Suede Nikes. Sheepskin Gazelles, Lee's, Italian Ices, New York summers, honeys, and block parties. I paint a clear picture that can touch anybody. From Grandmaster Cass to Grandmaster Flourish. Being Rakim, paid in full was on blast. That's the side the nigga talking all that jazz. Watching the Fresh Prince stacking all that cash. Ask about Mikey D from LA Queen. King T, Doc Dre in the LA Dream team. This rap shit made so much cream. But when the days Just Ice first came up on the scene, Juice Crew all-stars like him and Hakeem. Red Alert, Mr. Magic, I'm living a dream. I play the oldies on Sundays, Supreme Marvin Gaye, Phonics, Crusaders, Alicia's in one way.
You remember when rap was the best? Grandmaster Flash and Dougie Fresh. You remember Run DMC, Big Daddy Kane and BDP. You remember Shelters and Gazelles, Janet Cool G, Bonnie and LL. Remember those good old days, those good old days. Now this verse is dedicated to my ladies.
MC Light, y'all.
You know I can't forget y'all.
Latifah,
No riding on.
Left Eye, Aaliyah.
Hey, DJ, can you play that? Old school hit from way back. So sit back and let me take you back down memory lane.
Like the feeling you get when you got Big L playing up in your deck. Or even Big and Pop, man, show some respect. Roger Troutman, Marvin Gaye on cassette. 8 tracks stacked high, playing the 45s, TVs with the stereos on the top side. Earth, Wind and Fire, Smokey and the Miracles. Led the young youth on the block, getting lyrical. Most girls couldn't sing, so they started out scatting. Beating on the school desk turned into rapping. Jumped in the studio and made things happen. 20 years later, I'm finally going platinum.
Remember when rap was the best? Grandmaster Flash and Dougie Fresh. You remember Run DMC, Big Daddy Kane and BDP. You remember Charles Holmes and Gazelle, Jan, Cool G, Money and LL. Remember those good old days, those good old days.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Can we hear you funky fresh scratching again? It's yours.
Got style, I know the routine.
My name is MC Shin. LL Cool J. People call me Milk. Oh yeah.
Remember when rap was the best? Grandmaster Flash and Dougie Fresh. You remember Run DMC, Big Daddy Kane and BDP. You remember Charles Holmes and Gazelle, Jan, Cool G, Money and LL. Remember those good old days, those good old days.
Yeah, this song is dedicated to all the artists who paved the way just so we could be here today. Rick James, rest in peace. Ray Charles, rest in peace. Big Pun, Big L.
All right, we are back. This is KCSB 91.9 FM in Santa Barbara. My name is Keon Zamuda, and you are listening to Meet Your Mentors, where we talk with faculty and staff here at UCSB about just about everything from their expertise to who they are and what UCSB is like. So we are here continuing with our show with Professor Scott Price from the chemistry department here at UCSB, and we were going to talk a little bit about chemistry in this next portion of the show. So, Professor, could you tell us a little bit about what chemistry is exactly?
Yeah, absolutely. So in chemistry, we're studying matter, and we're studying all different materials and their properties, and also how they interact with one another, right? So, you know, one chemical that we work with in our everyday lives is water, right? Water has so many fascinating properties. It has a boiling point that is so much higher than we would expect it to be. And if it weren't for that fact, we wouldn't have life on Earth as we know it. And so we have to understand why this is the case. And, you know, water has all these other really fascinating properties that we want to be studying. So chemistry is about kind of getting some information about that, figuring out as much as we can about the world around us. And then we're also interested in seeing how different substances, different chemicals can interact and react with one another. You walk around in your everyday life and there are thousands of chemical reactions happening around you at any time. And getting an understanding of these reactions, why they happen, what sort of products you can make, is so critical to our understanding of life and how we can make life better.
And chemistry is almost a foundation for a lot of other sciences, like biology.
Absolutely. Yeah, chemistry is viewed by many to be what's considered essential science because it touches on so many different areas. Like, you can use concepts of chemistry to explain biological phenomena, or to explain, you know, phenomena in physics, or phenomena in, you know, any other field of science. And that's one of the things that really got me excited about chemistry, and one of the reasons why I decided to study it. It's also one of the reasons why almost everybody who's coming into UCSB and studying science or engineering has to take chemistry.
Yeah.
You've got to get that foundational information to be able to fully understand whatever you're doing in your field of choice.
Definitely. So, as far as what you've done in chemistry, could you tell us a little bit about your latest research and what your observances were and your results?
Sure. So, in my current role here at UCSB, I am a lecturer. I strictly teach. I don't currently have research projects going on. But when I was here at UCSB as a grad student a few years ago, I was working on studying chemical reactions and I was trying to get a fundamental understanding of how these reactions worked. So the reaction that I was trying to study was the conversion of methanol, which is a very cheap and easy product to make, into formaldehyde, which is a much more expensive and difficult product to obtain. And formaldehyde is an incredibly important product because it's used for making plastics, it's used for making so many different things. So this is a reaction that is incredibly important because you're making a valuable product, and it's a reaction that people had been doing for years and years in an industrial setting. And to make this reaction happen, they used this catalyst that consists of titanium dioxide with vanadium oxide put onto it. This combination of titanium dioxide and vanadium oxide would make this reaction happen pretty fast with good yield. So what we were trying to do was to take this catalyst that people knew about and try to figure out how the catalyst worked. We wanted to know all the steps that the reaction went through. And so that's the mechanism for the reaction, all the little steps that the reaction goes through to figure out how can this reaction be improved. And also we wanted to know how can we make the best possible catalyst. It wasn't known at the time what the exact formulation of the vanadium oxide and the titanium oxide had to be. So we were working on figuring that out. And to do that, at UCSB here, we have this, it's a crazy instrument that we use that has so many different functionalities to it. But one of the most fascinating features of it is that we had a scanning tunneling microscope, which is essentially a microscope that is so powerful that you can see individual atoms and molecules. And you can watch chemical reactions happen in real time. And so we were able to follow the chemical reaction. We were able to see, when we prepare this catalyst and then we expose it to the methanol, where does the methanol bind on the catalyst? And then be able to watch and get some idea of how the chemical reaction happens. Once you get information about that, you can figure out how to make the catalyst run even better, to improve, get more product out, or to make the product faster. And so this has been a very time-consuming process. I graduated in 2011 after having worked on the project for 5 years. We didn't have all the answers then. We had a new batch of grad students come in. Some of them are graduating now. They've gotten further towards getting the answers for it, but there's still so many unresolved questions. This is a project that we could probably work on for years and years, and continue coming up with more and more questions on how to make this catalyst.
And this is just one reaction that you guys have been working on for 10 years.
Yeah. Now, the crazy thing and one of the really exciting things about this catalyst is that it actually does also work for a number of other reactions. And the idea behind studying this particular reaction is that we can use this as a template to give us information about other reactions. But yeah, that's research, right? It's the long struggle to get the answers to questions, but the information that you get is incredibly rewarding, and it ends up being worth all the work that you put in.
I'm sure. Okay, cool. So that will take us to our last segment of the show. We are going to get into a little bit of advice for college students from Professor Price, and then maybe some stories for you up ahead. So this is KCSB 91.9 FM, Meet Your Mentors. We are with Professor Price from the Chemistry Department. We will be right back after Speak What I Feel by Educated Advocates. Stay tuned.
And let it drop in.
Yeah. I feel what I speak, cause I speak what I feel. No use in faking the funk, I'm relaying the real. No referring to pushing products and playing with steel. Just polishing my profession and displaying some skill. I feel what I speak, cause I speak what I feel. No use in faking the funk, I'm relaying the real. No referring to pushing products and playing with steel. Just polishing my profession and displaying some skill.
Cause I feel that I need to be fully honest, so I stick to total truth whenever I appear upon it. Flowing reality, but no TV, pre-planned scam to fool you into listening to me. One hand on the holy object, other hand on my heart. Handle it wholeheartedly with planning remarks. Regarding personal preference, stance on a situation. I plan to stand by every single statement. Placement perfected. Real boom bap raps, resurrected. And no ridiculous rant of drug dealing's been detected. Injected some genuine energy, ingenuity, collecting, assemble, blending what we tend to do to beats. Respect is expected, check the technique that we choose to free predict. Ridiculous response from the community. True MCs wiling, defiling opponents, killing across the calendar, compiling components.
I feel what I speak, cause I speak what I feel. No use to faking the funk, I'm relating the real. No referring to pushing products and playing with steel. Just polishing my profession and displaying some skill. I feel what I speak, cause I speak what I feel. No use to faking the funk, I'm relating the real. No referring to pushing products and playing with steel. Just polishing my profession and displaying some skill. Cause I feel
like I'm about to explode if I don't express the feelings up inside of me, providing me distress. Society is wildin', dumbed down environments got me itching to take a position to get violent. Hold notes to violence, I'm pulling the strings. Compose thoughts when in silence, admiring things. My choir sings to a tune that ignites the youth to acknowledge the common lies that's disguised as truth. So if the proof's in the pudding, I'ma stuff my face and speak what I feel is real, no matter what it takes, no matter in which state of mind I'm trapped in. I found success each step when taking action. I display true passion, but others are frauds. Got my bags packed, ready, set to travel abroad. Don't live by the sword, I live by the pen and by my word. A leader looking for land while you follow the herd. Yeah,
I feel what I speak, cause I speak what I feel. No use to faking the funk, I'm relating the real. No referring to pushing products and playing with steel. Just polishing my profession and displaying some skill. I feel what I speak, cause I speak what I feel. No use to faking the funk, I'm relating the real. No referring to pushing products and playing with steel. Just polishing my profession and displaying some skill. Cause I feel
right on top of my game, doing work. Won't write a verse if the topic is lame. The same recycled verbiage, believe Michael the beast. My free speech is released in brief cycles. Can't speak a shit that they never would live. I had it raps with the big kick and flavor this big. As a kid I grew tough, broke with my shoe scuffed, sold smoke and stole just to get me a few bucks. But trust, I never wrote a bar that's fake. The cigar splitter this large made you pause and take. Forest flaws, I got them but stay on par. Lights in the sky seem high but they on fall. I never fall for a scheme, stay true to my team. Usually seen painting pictures and pursuing a dream. Do what I mean, and I mean what I do. Keeping it true to life for you, Mike B and the crew.
Alright, we are back. This is KCSB 91.9 FM in Santa Barbara. My name is Keon Zmuda, and you are listening to Meet Your Mentors, where we talk with faculty and staff here at UCSB about just about everything there is to talk about. And we are in our last segment of the show with Professor Scott Price from the Chemistry Department. And just for our last bit of stuff for the show, we just want to ask you if you have any advice for students here at UCSB.
So I think one of my biggest pieces of advice for students here is make sure that your professors and instructors get to know who you are when you're in their class. Because you never know when you're going to need that contact or that letter of recommendation from them. And, you know, it's kind of sometimes sad when I'll teach the entire chem series, 1A, B, and C, and I have students that I recognize in the 350-person lecture hall. I see them the entire year, and I have no idea who they are because they never introduce themselves. They never come to office hours or anything. And that said, I want to get to know who my students are. And it really does help when you start applying to med school, grad school, whatever, jobs, internships, to get that strong letter of recommendation. The more I know about you, the more I can write. So that's definitely a huge piece of advice. And I think my second piece of advice for people is to, you know, find something that you really love doing and never give up on it. That was something that when I was in college, one of my professors had told me. I was in my freshman year taking the chemistry classes, and I was having a hard time of it. It was not something that came easy to me at first. And I was thinking about pursuing other fields of study, and one of my mentors in chemistry just told me, you know what, I can tell that you're passionate about this. Just keep working at it. Don't give up. You can do this. And if it weren't for her, I wouldn't be here now. So it's just so critical to, you know, fight for what you want to be doing.
Very critical. And I'm so happy for you that you're passionate about chemistry and you're doing it now. That's awesome. And just last but not least, do you have any funny stories or college memories to share with us?
So, something that was kind of a funny and also really embarrassing incident for me when I was in college was it was right after we had taken this really tough organic chemistry midterm. Ooh. And me and a few of my friends went out for lunch after the midterm, and I was on a rant about the test and about the class and all of that. And I was on a roll, and I was just ranting and raving about stuff. And one of the people who's, my friend sitting across the table from me was like, "Scott, look behind you."
No
And
way.
behind me was the professor for the class. And so it was so awful. It was so awful. And like he had the test that I had just turned in, right? So, okay. Then what made it even worse was that a couple months later, the exact same thing happened again with the exact same professor.
Again?
Yeah. And so my friend started to call that pulling a Scott whenever someone would get caught, saying things behind people's back. Definitely don't do that.
Pulling a Scott.
Don't do that. Don't get caught. Or just don't say mean things about people, right? Because you never know when it's going to come back to you.
I was half expecting just now for you to say, and then he pulled out my test, and then he graded it right there in front of me. It embarrassed me even more. No, I'm just kidding. But see, you made it out alive.
Yeah, somehow, right?
You got out of the OChem. So OChem people, remember, it's okay.
You'll get through it. It's not easy, but you will get through it.
You will get through it. All right, sounds good. That's about it for our show. Again, this is KCSB 91.9 FM, Meet Your Mentors. This was a fantastic show with Professor Scott Price, and next week we'll be back, same time, same place, Monday at 5 a.m., right here on KCSB, where we will be talking with another awesome professor. So again, thank you, Professor Price, for being on the show.
Yes, thank you as well. This has been a really awesome experience.
It was very awesome.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so up next, we just have our playlist of songs for you, classic hip-hop as requested by DJ Price, right next to me. And that's about it. So we're going to go to some Jurassic 5, The Way We Do It, and that's about it. We will be back very shortly.
Just the way we do it. J5 in the house tonight. Damn right, we in the house tonight.
It's like front and center for those who don't get it. We hit it, stay committed. The skies is the limit. Rock on and twist it, hop it, don't stop it. Drop it like it's heavy when the DJ knock it.
Tight swift, so fitted. My folks is close knitted. With every note, we gon' get close to your spirit. If not, post and pivot. Some folks just don't get it. We got a gross fetish for beats and dope lyrics for real.
Watch my committee as we stomp through your city, destroying every and any club or academy. Rap styles, we plenty, baby. Rain, snow, or sunny. The game is nose running. My team is show money.
Yes, Lord, it's hard to not give us applause, accolades, and awards to even out the odds. Solidify the bars with flavor they can't dodge. We kill them and play hard within 16 bars.
That's just the way we do it. J5 in the house tonight. Damn right, we in the house tonight.
Yeah, we like to mash hard, Bogart, kill it when the track's hard. Yes, y'all, fresh, y'all, fly shit you ever saw. A to the K, I to the L, Rockwell. Hit the block, tip top in every jail cell.
Push the panic button, cause we like a planet coming. Vicious avalanche or something, plus I ain't retracting nothing. Enough said, we roll with rough tread. You old and busted, my crew, we hustling.
Yeah, we grandstand when we can't stand. This is one hell of a plan, and my plan's ambitious. We allergic to lies and to ham sandwiches, and we stay flexible for if the grand plan switches.
So if by chance you catch a glimpse of the West Coast representative, 5-star commemorative, rap far from primitive, inventive. Just hear it and remember it's us, J5.
Just touched by J5 in the house tonight. Yes, sir. Damn right, we in the house tonight. J5 in the house tonight. Yes, sir. Damn right, we in the house tonight.
Yo, we came to push up on ya. The Southern California top-notch performance. informer with the corner aroma. One upon ya, yeah, tell it to a friend. We suck it up and blow it out in the wind.
And we come from the beginner, never been a pretender. 7 letters and put them together, kill a competitor. Better than most, we serving devils for dinner. Trying to get to one of the 7 levels of Jenna. For real, we set trends.
And never follow behind. My crew be swallowing rhymes while you following dimes. We take it to the limit, no gimmicks or false images. Style is all scrimmage, that's why I'm all in it.
Yeah, we certified the vibe and cutting off the air supply. We kick, spit, stab, artillery, vocab. The minute we go back, that old school rhythm we show that. A lot of cats wish to clone that. And that's that.
That's just the way we do it.